Hello there, it's Ian from the volunteering team at Christian Aid. And welcome to this second video, which is designed to support you using your Christian Aid IT account. And in this video, we'll be looking at some of the systems that you might be using while volunteering with us at Christian Aid. Let's start with a little reminder of logging in. If you're using a Christian Aid laptop, you'll be automatically prompted to enter your username and password when you turn it on. If you're accessing Christian Aid systems from your own laptop at home, you'll log in by visiting the address you can see on screen. Remember, your username, this never changes. It's your first initial and surname, all one word, plus the @christian-aid.org address at the end. Your password, you'll have received a temporary password so that you can log in for the first time. And once you've set your own, no one else will have access to it. And you'll need to reset this password every 3 months. And you'll receive a prompt to do this when you're logged in and it's nearing the expiry date. If you forget to do this and you get locked out, you can contact our IT help desk to help you. So when you're logged in, this is the screen that you see for our Christian Aid intranet. And I just want to take a moment to talk about appropriate use of the system, particularly when you're using a Christian Aid laptop. Use of the internet during your volunteering should be limited to visiting sites required to perform your role. Personal use of the internet is not permitted where it conflicts with our code of conduct or involves the creation, accessing, or display of criminal, offensive, obscene, or indecent images, data or material which prevents or slows down work-related use of the internet. So we're ready to get started. Before I start telling you what the different parts of our system do, I want to show you how to navigate around our intranet. So when you log in and open an internet browser, if you're using a Christian Aid laptop, you'll be taken to the intranet homepage, which you can see on the screen now. You can find different systems by clicking on the waffle icon in the top left corner. That's a little icon that's made up of 9 squares. And this reveals a list of lots of different Microsoft systems. You won't necessarily need to use them all, and in this session, I'll only be highlighting some of the most important ones. They all work within your browser, so there isn't a need to download any separate software. You can click on any links or buttons you see to continue moving around the intranet site. You'll find a few of the specialist systems listed on the intranet, and these tend to be more specialist programs, so you may not need to use them. To view them, hover your mouse over the CA Systems option near the top of the page. And you'll see that they're categorized based on the type of system that they are. We won't be covering these in this video, but your staff contact will let you know about any of these and train you on the systems if you need to access them. So now that we're connected and know how to move around the system, let's highlight a few important resources. And this is our first one, the intranet. It's called SharePoint. It can only be accessed by people at Christian Aid, not the public. So we can use it for sharing important documents, updates, and events to help us work. And on the main front page, you can see headlines about developments at Christian Aid. You can click on any of these to be taken to more up-to-date information. Remember to be careful with what information you share about the work of Christian Aid. If ever you're not sure about what you can and cannot share, do check with your staff contact. Also on the front page, you can see upcoming events and training that you're welcome to join. And you'll find further information about them by clicking on an event. You can find specific information about our departments, work, policies, and much more along the drop-down menus along the top of the page. You'll see some examples here, our missions and values. And whenever we're on a page, we can always return to the home page by clicking the intranet homepage button at the top of your screen, or you can click the back button on your browser. The intranet tends to have a lot of static information, things that might not change a lot and that you can't necessarily respond to. For things that need feedback, announcements, or might be time bound, we use something called Yammer. And you can take a look now by clicking on the Yammer button at the top of the screen. Yammer's a bit like Facebook or Twitter, but only people at Christian Aid can access it. On the first page, you'll see a lot of recent posts from all sorts of people across Christian Aid on all sorts of topics. And on the left, you can see any groups that you've joined, where you can look for posts on a specific topic. To join more groups, click the plus icon at the top of the list to view everything available. Or to look for something really specific, you can type it in the search bar. Here, I've looked at the All Christian Aid group and read this most recent announcement. I can post a comment in a response or like the post to show my approval. Remember to always be respectful and constructive when using Yammer. When communicating in writing, it's easy for things to be misconstrued or understood. Yammer isn't the place for raising concerns either, so always speak to your staff contact first. To come out of Yammer, I can either use the back button on my browser or I can click on the waffle icon I showed you earlier. The next resource I want to show you is Delve, which is the Christian Aid phone book. And if we click on that now, on the left-hand side, you'll see a search box. And you can write full or partial names or job titles here to search for any matches across the organisation. Next, we'll look at how you can create documents to share with others. We use Microsoft Office, Word, Excel and PowerPoint. But don't worry, you don't need to have these programs on your home computer. You can access them online by clicking on the waffle in the top left again. If you're using a Christian Aid laptop, you can use these programs by clicking on the shortcuts at the bottom of your screen or selecting them from your computer's start menu. You'll be taken to an online version of the program where you can make new files or open other files that you're collaborating with others. And of course, as you're creating work, you may need to save it so that you can come back to it or share it with others. And to save it, you click on the file in the top left. This should be the same whether you're using the program or the online version, though it may look a little different. If you select Save As, you'll see the option to save a copy online. If you're using the program, it'll take you directly to the save options. There are two different places that you can save your work, depending on who needs to see the document. The first is called OneDrive. This is your own personal drive, all hosted online, where you can save anything that only you need to access or control. The second is a shared library site on SharePoint. Depending on your team settings, it may mean that just the rest of your team can access it, or it's accessible to everyone in Christian Aid. Your staff contact will advise you on this. Remember, you should never save any Christian Aid documents, particularly those with personal data in them, directly onto your own laptop. You can view everything in your OneDrive at any time by clicking on the waffle and selecting OneDrive. If you're using a Christian Aid laptop, you can also view it by opening the File Explorer at the bottom of your screen and selecting OneDrive. The last area for us to cover is how you connect and communicate with others in Christian Aid, which we do using two systems. The first is sending emails through Outlook. To access Outlook, let's click the waffle again and select the Outlook this time. If you're using a Christian Aid laptop, you'll also have the program in your shortcuts along the bottom of your screen and in your start menu. To send an email, you can click the new message button near the top of the page. Copy and paste in the address of the recipient or start typing the name of Christian Aid staff to find them on the system. You can also see what emails and meeting invitations you've received and click on one of them to find out what it contains. Once you've read a message, you can respond by clicking on the reply icons at the top right of the message. For meeting invitations, you'll also be given options to accept or decline the meeting. Email should be treated with the same level of attention given to drafting and managing formal letters and memos. You should also remember that all email messages are subject to data protection legislation and can form part of corporate records. Christian Aid reserves the right to monitor computers, internet and email usage in order to ensure an efficient running of the computer network. You can also access a calendar through your emails, where you can see any meetings you've accepted or been invited to. You can click on a meeting to see more details about it, including who's organised it, who else is attending, where it's taking place, and if it's a virtual meeting, you'll also see all the buttons to connect with the meeting. If you're connecting to a virtual meeting, you'll see the names and photos, videos of other participants on your screen, and your name and photo, video will be in the bottom right. At the bottom of the screen, you'll see an action bar. For example, participating in the meeting. If you can't see it, you just wiggle your mouse and it will make it pop up. You can turn your microphone and webcam on and off using these buttons. When you're not speaking, you can turn off your microphone to avoid too much background noise during the call. If your internet is struggling, it can be useful to turn off your webcam to save on bandwidth. You can also chat using a messenger during the call. For example, if someone is delivering a presentation and you want to write down a question for them to answer at the end. You can access this by clicking on the speech bubble button. When the call is finished, you can hang up by pressing the red button. That's all I'll show you on this today. Thank you very much.